All right, what's good, everybody? It's glad to be back. Glad to see y'all again. So look, don't mind me. I just, spirit. I'm involved with the spirit, real in tune right now. So I've basically been nudged to do this video, especially with a recent comment. By the way, I'm going to get into the comment section, y'all. Did not forget about y'all. It's just been very busy. But there was a recent comment in the comment section about, or on a Taurus video of when I was explaining, my definition of what love was, which, kind of got some polarized viewpoints on that, which I should expect, right? Because of what I said that love is evil. And, is there a difference? The question, or one of the questions that was phrased was, is there a difference between love and nurturing? Because I believe I said, don't quote me on this, but I believe I said that it's better to nurture the Taurus woman than it is to love them. And, it kind of got distorted, the message, with some people because of how I explained my definition of love to be evil. So a question was, can you do both? Like, can you love and can you nurture? Well, you can, but what I need to do now is, because I was pretty much in my feelings during this video, I believe. This is one video that I can actually say I was in my feelings, like I felt something. So I shouldn't even be laughing, but for real, I was very passionate when expressing what I felt about the Taurus woman during this video, and myself included, and that's because of the way that I love, or the way that I think or believe that I love people. So what I decided to do was actually look at astrology and explain it better than I was using constructivism at the time, of course, but I was also using psychology. So I'm gonna begin by starting with psychology, which is something that I learned in college that states, nurture and nature, right? So nature is this thing that we inherit from our DNA, like from our ancestors, from our predecessors. That is what we get from what evolutionary psychology suggests, that we inherit all of the experiences, the trauma, the emotions, and everything that were passed down from our predecessors into us. We have that, and it's just like triggers. Like the smallest things can trigger those types of things too. So it's like sometimes when you see those movies where, they'll have a movie about the Vikings, or they'll have a movie about Rome and this year, or whatever the case may be. Those are all movies that actually trigger the psyche inside of all of us in present day times, because our ancestors carried those memories and those experiences. Am I making sense to y'all? I hope that makes sense to y'all. So this is what evolutionary psychology suggests, right? So when we're born here in our new sleeves, our new shells, you can call them, we have DNA characteristics that we possess. And if you look at it in an astrological sense, that is the soul, that is our sun, that is our sun sign that carries those traits. And then, there's other elements such as our moons, which might represent our mother or represent our father, or our ascendant will a lot of the times represent our mother or our father. You can check your charts and find a lot of this to be true. Okay, all of this symbology. So that's nature. When you have your natural tendencies and your natural capabilities, or what your natural disposition is when you reach this planet, of how you carry out day-to-day activities, how you interact with other people, the talents that you have is largely associated with nature as well, right? So, okay, boom. Now in psychology, we was taught to really pick this thing apart, nature and nurture. And for the most part, the way I was taught is it's a verse thing. Like I'll tell you like this, not the way that I was taught, but the way it was framed for us was to read a lot of scholastic literature and find out, okay, well, how did the researchers deal with this prior to us? And a lot of them put it as a verse, like a pitted one against the other, because, and not for nothing, it's a great way to actually analyze the two. And the reason why it's analyzed is because nurture is something that comes in an extended form of what you already possess. And a lot of the times that nurture can come from external environments, external people, external components of the community, etc., right? It could definitely heavily relate to where you are in the world. So you have like third world countries and then you have developed countries, right? There's a large difference. So your ability to have access to certain resources when other people don't will facilitate how you maneuver through life, and that has a lot to do with nurture, right? Some may say, or some may argue, it doesn't matter, the cream rises to the top, and it's not true, because if that was the truth, then everybody who's talented would be on your TV screens right now. No shot to people who are on TV and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, like, the most talented people doesn't mean that they're going to be at the top of the heights of the industry or whatever the case may be. There's other factors that go into play with that, right? I don't want to draw this out and get into that, but my point is this: that's a part of nurture as well, right? You can be the greatest or a great at what you do, but if you're not positioned, right? If you're not financed, if you don't find the resources, if you don't find the group of people that can actually assist you in facilitating to you, helping you climb to that plateau, you just won't get there, right? And you'll still be remembered as one of the greats somewhere in the world, but not on the scale that maybe you expected to, and if not you, that others expected from you once they heard you or saw you do whatever it is that you do. So my reason for saying that the Taurus woman does better by being nurtured and not loved is because when you add on to a Taurus, it's cool, right? So my point is like, from my experiences is like, if you make a Taurus woman happy and you just leave out the door, like, you could go play. It's just like, oh, okay, you made her happy, you can go play. You know what I'm saying? It's no big deal because she's satisfied. She's taken care of. It's a very personal sign. It's a very personal perspective. And I think Venus, so I'm going to begin with the planet Venus, because I think Venus, I'm going to use some biblical text as well. I think Venus a lot of the times get the rep for being the love planet, right? You've heard it from numerous astrologers. They say love and Venus in the same sentence. And I'm finding that's not always the case, that's not necessarily true at all. That Venus is like really overlooked for being something, to me, much more stronger. Like, Venus basically fundamentally deals with attraction levels, right? So let me tell you how Venus can work. I did an experiment like this. Went to a library one day, I sat down, right? This is how Venus works. I was doing an exact experience on Venus and Mars during this time. Go in the library, I sit down. A group of kids comes inside of the library. They're chaperoned by a lady teacher. So boom, for whatever reason, the lady teacher decides that she wants to sit at the table that I'm sitting at. Now, mind you, this is in the library. This library, I know this is not this woman's first rodeo, just for the simple fact that the kids, like, automatically, they just ran to their places. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like it was their first time there. And to my understanding, if a classroom group of kids walks into an establishment like a library, they've been there before. It's a community thing, you know what I'm saying? Even if they're coming from a school. So, but here nor there, not only that, there's a kids section in this library. So why not go to the kids section, right? So this is how Venus works. Venus was in a specific place in the chart that day, in the solar chart, placed certain way in my natal chart, etc., right? I'm not going to draw it out with those details either, but here I am with all of these kids surrounding me, right? So now I got kids kicking me at the shins and shit, and I'm just like, I'm ready to just tell one of these kids, like, yo, you're fucking kicking me, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was Mars, and then I'm thinking about the experiment in my head. I know where the planets are in my head, and I'm just like, Mars is how I'm going to channel this frustration that I'm experiencing right now. I know they're kids, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, sometimes kids do stuff like this just to get a reaction, just to get some attention. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Those of you who have taken care of kids, you've raised kids, you've been around kids, you know what I'm talking about. They'll just start it just to get some type of attention. So, but you know, here and there, I'm weathering the storm, right? I'm not flipping out on this kid or whatever the case may be. But now Venus to get back on Venus will be how I also interact with this child, with this kid. And what the universe does is it says, okay, the way you interact with something or someone determines how you value it. That's a Venus construct. Venus is about valuation, right? So I can either say, look, kid, you're bugging me, get away from me. And that would tell the universe, I don't like children in this moment, at least, right? I don't like what this kid is doing for whatever reason. It's disturbing me. That's what the universe garners from that, right? So when you say love, you gotta really think about this, right? Obviously, if I was to respond that way, I don't love this kid. You know what I'm saying? So we got to think about that when we're talking about relationships as well. Just because Venus is a planet that is fundamentally based on interaction, it does not mean you're going to love a person. So again, biblical text, right? Love is not puffed up, love is patient, etc., etc. We're going to get to this now, right? And those are supposed to love unconditionally, this, that, and the third. So I guess tolerance comes with loving someone unconditionally. Tolerance is what I was doing with this kid who was kicking me in the shin under the table. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I just let it fly, let it tolerate. That's unconditional love for this kid, right? Now, another thing with love is like, okay, love is not puffed up, it's patient, right? So that means all ego is removed from love. Now I want you to think about this and just be honest with yourselves. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta comment in the comment section, you don't gotta inbox me and tell me, just be honest with yourself, right? And if you haven't experienced it or you don't date, you're not on the scene or whatever the case may be, just thinking about people that you have observed, right? When a person is nonchalant about the interaction or about how they feel about a person or about what bothers them about a person and they don't communicate that, tell the truth. Does that make you feel like that person loves you? Does it make you feel like they love you when they don't say, well, how are you? Why you didn't answer your phone? I was calling you. Did you get my text? I'm worried about you. I'm concerned about you. You don't talk to me anymore. Where are you? You know, I want to know where you're at. Woman, where you at? You know what I'm saying? So like loving unconditionally, right? It's like not caring that you're going outside with no bra on and your nipples looking like fucking torpedoes and shit, and you're just going outside. It's just like, you know what? I trust you. I love you unconditionally. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of y'all might go for that and be like, yeah, you know, my husband or my man is secure, X, Y, and Z. Blah, blah, blah. Some others are not going for that. They're actually looking to be stopped before they walk out of the door. You understand what I'm saying? Or they get a kick out of the man or a man saying like, yo, the fuck you think you're going looking like that? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, get your ass back in here, put a bra on, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? They get turned on by that. They like that. They like that they men do not want them being seen by other men and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? But that, again, that's a level of interaction with Venus, but you be the discerner of understanding whether that is love or not, or how you define that to be love. You understand what I'm saying? Now that's more like a Pluto placement, because Pluto is the possessive planet, right? And I'm gonna get to the ego, the sun, which I use as why the love is evil, etc., etc. But Pluto gets very deep with this whole love thing, and I'm gonna tell you why, right? Pluto is like, you're not going any fucking where. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because I possess you. You understand what I'm talking about? And that's just the bottom line. Now, again, ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Do you feel more loved when someone is going at you like that? Or do you feel more loved if someone says, they look at you, they see you going out with your nipples looking like fucking torpedoes, and they're just like, okay, be back by 10, or call me if you need a ride or whatever, you know, or maybe not even say nothing. It's just, okay, see you later, babe, or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm not encouraging or supporting either one, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, do your homework, do your due diligence, and maybe you may come up with a different interpretation for what you discern love to be. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not justifying how I carried out my interpretation of it during that Taurus video. You know, it is what it is. I don't take it back. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, let's really chop this up. Let's really dissect this and pull it apart and see, determine what love really is. So, but Pluto is Pluto has a mystique about it as well, because it's not just possessive, like, come here, where you going, what are you doing? Pluto is also, I will leave you totally alone. And it's good to speak about this because I'm about to go in on this in the podcast a bit, because we just came out of the Mercury retrograde that was in Scorpio. Mercury was in Scorpio for a long time, and Scorpio season was intense. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I valued Scorpio season a lot. But, you know, Pluto rules over Scorpio, modern day times. So Pluto also has the ability to leave you alone totally, right? On one end, it's like, okay, I want to dig up the jewels of the earth. I want to get the woman. The woman must be mine. I want the queen. I don't want that one. I want the queen. Oh, okay, I got the queen. I want that one now. I want a mistress. I want concubines. That's Pluto shit. But Pluto also will be like all the way over here, the coldest planet, furthest away from Earth, and be plotting and doing a whole bunch of other shit that's more along the lines of preparation, right? For survival reasons. So think about this when you're in relationships, or if you've seen or heard relationships where people be like, it was something mysterious about him or her. They were just spending all of this time away all of a sudden, and then the next thing you know, I come home one day and all the stuff was packed, or all of this stuff was moved out, and they called me from another apartment. Come to find out, this dude had a family, or this chick had a family, or the whole entire time on the other part of the planet, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Some crazy wild story that you was none the wiser about. That's also Pluto. That's also Pluto, who as a planet that says, okay, I'm going to, because Pluto is about personal power. You see how that gets you, right? It's like, you my woman, you can't go nowhere, you can't do this, you can't do that. But that's a personal thing. It's not really looking out for the well-being. If we're comparing it to Venus, it's not actually looking out for the well-being of the individual if you're not giving that individual the opportunity to move on whatever advice you gave them. Like, you could give stern advice and like caring advice, like, yo, I don't think you should do that. I think you should do it like this, that, and the third. And it's still that person's decision whether they want to do that or not. They're still an individual human being. You know what I'm saying? So Pluto can be like, all right, I don't want nothing to do. Like I told you, okay, I'm over here with it. I'm doing this, I'm doing X, Y, Z. And it's like those situations and relationships where he'd be like, okay, I left. I'm not even around it like that no more. Like, I don't even care about you like that no more. Like, let's see how well you do now. Let's see how good you do now. So those relationships when they be like, oh, look at him now. You seen this new girl? She look like trash. Blah, 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 this X, Y, and Z. And if the crowd is looking, if the audience is looking, they might agree and be like, yeah, you know what? That's right. Like, you make a good point there. Like, ever since they're not with you anymore, they're like this now. So the truth must be that you're a better person, or you was the better person in a relationship, or you had better goals and ideals and values for that person, and they were the toxic ones. You understand what I'm saying? That's also Pluto. That's also Pluto. So it's just like, again, how do you determine love to be? Do you determine someone being cold? And a lot of the times people are pushed to being cold, right? But do you determine one being cold as a sense of not loving you? Because here goes another saying, right? If you love something good, and if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, then it's yours. Or if it really truly is love, right? So in a sense, that's kind of getting back to unconditional love, and love is not puffed up, it's not egotistical, right? So then you let it go, and because like me, right, Pisces get the rep for being wishy-washy. I can confirm this even more further with this analogy, right? Pisces get the rap for being wishy-washy, and it's like, I know how to be possessive. I know how to say like, yo, look, blah, 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 I'm being on top of you, and you know what I'm saying? And then in those instances when I see that that's not working, and most of the times when it comes to me, when I'm dating, is when the ego, I can't tolerate it anymore, to where my ego is finally like, all right, that's enough. Like, do something about this, right? That's when I'm hurt to the point where it's just like, yo, I did too much for this person, or I cared too much for that person. You know what I'm saying? I expressed it too much too. Like, I should have let it play out, or gave them more space, or gave them room to experience stuff on their own. You know what I'm saying? So with Pisces being wishy-washy, it's just like, I had to learn myself that, and as a Pisces, I'm pretty sure a lot of you Pisces out there can relate. When you surrender, it's a 12th house mechanism. When you surrender, a lot of things come to you. Not only that, but a lot of things that are for you comes to you, right? So that saying may have some solid truth to it. And sure, it's a Pluto way to go about life, the polar opposite, of Pluto being possessive. And it could also be considered in this light, right? Like, yo, once I get her, I got her. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who messed with her after me. Like, watch, you're going to see she won't ever be the same, or the way that she is now, she was never like that before. You understand what I'm saying? That's also a Pluto dynamic that says, okay, I can still be possessive and not even be in the same room with this person. Now, some people would be like, you just talking shit now. That's a bunch of bullshit. If you're not here with me, then you're not in the picture anymore. You know what I'm saying? I can hear chicks saying this shit now. You know what I'm saying? But okay, again, if the audience is watching, and you may know people like this and people in relationships and stuff like that, to where they be like, yo, I'm serious. Like, I was the man. Like, who you know that she messed with, or who you know that he messed with ever since messing with her, that he looked the same, or they looked that cute together, or this, that, and the third. Like, these are always conversations and topics that come up amongst other people, you know, gossip, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? But that's Pluto. So now we explained Venus, we explained Pluto, and now I'm going to explain the sun, and why I felt like the sun and the ego is what makes love so evil to me. And it's because when I like something, I think I can explain like to you much more better than I can explain love to you. I can interpret like when I like something, I like it. You all can interpret something that you like with the snap of a finger. And everyone who is watching you, they know that you like it as well. But love is something that you gotta really pick apart and determine. And as far as the individual goes, their psyche, as far as the individual perceives love to be, it may not be all on this one moral accord that society sets. You know what I'm saying? So with the sun being involved, with the ego being involved, it's like this. Now just think about it. Put yourself in a situation that you can reflect on when your ego was bruised in a relationship. And it could range from anything from, you know, being called a little dick motherfucker, a limp dick motherfucker. Excuse me, this video is not for kids. I'm gonna make sure I check this, by the way, before this uploads. But, you know, you could be called many of things, or women the same thing. You gals could be called fat, or, you know, whatever the fuck that just turns you off and bruises your ego. A lot, sometimes, I'm not gonna put a number on it, but sometimes there's no coming back from that. Like, even when you do repair it, or whatever the case may be, those words stick so hard. Like, they replay when you're in the mirror, or they replay when you're out and about. You know what I'm saying? And once your ego is damaged, man, that's what can make you come up, or that's what made me, let me keep it on me now. That's what made me come up with the reflection part and say, you know what? This would have worked better, or this has worked better with this individual, but I gave her more of this, or what, you know, my concern, my passion, what I care about them. You know what I'm saying? I showed that once I revealed a few of those cards, it was like, oh, okay, this dude liked me like that, to the point where they believe that they can say certain things and move in certain ways because they got me like that, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, you can trick yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you may not have a person like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you might call a person wishy-washy when they figure it out and they say, well, you know what? This isn't going well because I think she just disrespected me for the 10th time, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think she gets it. And the reason why she doesn't get it is because of a high tolerance, right? So if you're raised in a church or something like that, you'll tell yourself, oh yeah, I'm the bigger person, I'm taking the higher role. You know what I'm saying? I love her unconditionally. Like, that shit don't really bother me. Which a lot of times it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? However, everyone's got an ego, man. Everyone's got an ego, yo. You know what I'm saying? So eventually it's going to reach that point. Everyone's got a point. You know what I mean? Eventually it's going to reach that point where you say, you know what? This shit is bananas. Like, this shit is not working. It's not working for me. You know what I'm saying? It may work for them. They may even get a kick out of, like, ridiculing you or snapping on you, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And again, if it goes unchecked, or when it goes unchecked for an amount of time, it becomes normalized for them. You know what I'm saying? And then that becomes normalized in a relationship. And again, once the ego is involved, it's just like, yo, because when you see people in their fun spirits and they're having fun and this is what they like to do, they're kid-like about it, and that's bruised, like that's attacked, oh baby, like I don't think this is to me what makes love evil, because when you play on that, I think that is like the most um vindictive thing that an individual can do, because they know the things that you like. You know what I'm saying? Again, love is more mysterious. It's more, it's going to be more of a challenge to get at what someone loves, right? Because I know people that can love something, love someone, and not show it at all. You would be none the wiser. They mask it. They are very good at this, and a lot of the times it's to protect people that they love, or to protect things that they love, to protect principles that they love. But the like, you can't hide a like. You can't hide when you walk in a room and you just like something. You like the way something feels, and a lot of this time this comes with interaction. You think about Leo in his natural sense. It's just like you come into a room full of people that you want to talk, you want to express yourself. These group over here is expressing themselves. This girl's over, oh, you like that girl, you like this girl, you're having fun. No one wants that dampened. That's why there's fights in clubs and stuff like that. Like, yo, you stepped on my sneaker, you spilled a drink on this shirt. Like, yo, you wildin'. Like, this is why stuff like this occurs, because you can't hide like. You can't hide like. You know what I mean? So now to conclude on this, and I hope those breakdowns of the planets and the different interactions and how the mechanics work with those planets made sense. But to conclude on this, right? You got nature versus nurture. Sometimes it's not just our natural capabilities is what's going to get us across, or get us through, or get us to accomplish things, to get us to achieve things. Sometimes it takes that additional, that add-on to a person, right? It's like, oh, let me upgrade you. You know what I'm saying? That shirt, that hat, that jacket, the jewelry, the accessories, and you know, some of y'all might be on 1,000 with the spiritual shit, right? It'd be like, nah, none of that stuff matters, and da 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 da. But sometimes it does. Sometimes that little tweak that you make to yourself, or that someone makes to themselves, is what makes the difference in the whole conglomerate of things, in a whole network of things. And now all of a sudden this person is looking, that person is looking at that, going, oh, did you see that last video that so-and-so did? Or did you see that last photo that such and such posted? Like, her butt got big, or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that is done, it's an add-on, and that's a form of nurture. You know what I'm saying? It could be the form of financing, just like, oh, no, I don't want to fuck or nothing. Nah, I'm just, you know, do you? I want to see you do you. I want to see you blossom. I want to see you get rich. I want to see you, you know, it could be so many different things, but it's just like here. It's more of the here, not come here. It's more of here. Let me sit back. Let me observe. That's nurturing. So let me put it in a different context, so it's just not a human thing, right? Like higher education, for example. Like, to me, I'm confirming that I'm a better individual after obtaining higher education. Like, that's just how I feel, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't something that I was naturally born with. Like, I was naturally born with an education, because fifth house, sun, Leo, that's also a form of education. That's a house of education. That's a place of education. But that's more of a place of expression or education of the individual right to express yourself in this world. That's a different type of education. But when you get into the higher realms, you get into the realms of higher education, it's more about peer reviewed, right? Not only am I feeling this way, or have I experienced this and determined it to be this way, my peer does, my other peer does, their peers do. And we all, on the same accord, right? Sound mind, determine the same thing. That's higher education. So I think that made me a better individual, but that's an add-on. That's a resource that nurtured me. You understand what I'm saying? And this can go on and so forth to a range of a plethora of different things. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Taurus woman does better with that, because just look at the Taurus placement, the second house, right? Adorn her with gifts, adorn her with the finest things in life, the lavish things, and the things that make her feel comfortable, right? It doesn't even have to be a gold palace, although it would be nice. But if you put her in the most comfortable of circumstances, you don't have any issues with the Taurus. You just don't. But once you start, once she learns you, like, this is now This is no this is a smart sign, yo. You know what I'm saying? This sign knows people and peoply things. So when you know people so well, individual constructs so well, you can play off of them. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, they have this cool way of being able to do that, and you might not understand it until later on, until it becomes repetitive, and then you say, well, you know what? This person is more sly than I took them to be. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is not even to place full blame on a Taurus. This could be me being extra. You know what I'm saying? This could really be me like, yo, your fucking nipples look like torpedoes. Get the fuck in the house. You know what I'm saying? I keep saying that. You know what I'm saying? And on some real shit, I'm not even like that. Like, you can really go outside with your nipples looking like torpedoes and I'll support you. But I've seen that time and time and time again. Like, I've seen violence behind that very example. Like, yo, fuck you think you going looking like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen that happen. Like, yo, it's not happening today. I've seen violence break out behind stuff like that enough times to understand that that's a type of love, or it's a type of something. Again, a lot of y'all might say that that's not love. And okay, why did the person stick around so long? You know, why was they back together after some eyes got black and some people got stabbed, some stitches and staples occurred? They walking down the block together. You know what I'm saying? So we got to ask ourselves that. And again, I think this is a perfect time to bring this to the light, because we just left Scorpio season. So the 8th house is about life after marriage, the conjoining of two people. Now think about it. 8th house is supposed to transform you. So those of you who are in relationships now, if you haven't transformed in that relationship after Scorpio season, this is something that you should take heed to. It's something you should reflect on. Because if not, right, the 8th house is also about death. That means that the relationship is stagnant, it's stale, it's not transforming, it's not turning into fucking butterflies. The shit's turning into the fucking cocoon is not hatching. You know what I'm saying? That means that there's an extremity there. There's an underlying thing happening in the psyche. 8th house is also about the psychology of the mind. So there's something occurring there that Pluto has not dug up and unearthed, right? And one person may be feeling it, both persons may be feeling it, but it's not being acted on for the sake of transformation. And Sagittarius season is the proof of that, because Sagittarius is free life, like free. Sagittarius is the fucking butterfly. You understand what I'm talking about? Sagittarius is like, fuck all that up. Fuck that shit. Fuck that dark shit. Fuck that dark room shit. Fuck that shit. I'm flying. I'm not gonna get no monetization on this video, but you get what I don't care. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? It's like, Sagittarius season is gonna be like, yo, I got a higher belief system now. I came out of that. And this is even for the couples that have transformed in a beautiful sense, right? You're like, okay, our relationship is on a new plateau now. Like, you feel it, you're on high spirits, you're freedom loving. But if you're not, you're going to know right now. You know what I'm saying? So this is another reason to absorb this video, absorb this information, and determine what you think love is. When you interact with people, are you experiencing or are you expressing love for one another? Again, use the planets if you have to, the same way I did. Or are you just liking this person? Do you just like the things that this person does, wears, how they look, make you feel? And again, I would suggest not to put Venus in that small box that says, yeah, it's all chocolates, roses, and smiling and cuddling and shit. Venus will look you right in the eye and say, I'm leaving because I don't like the way that you're acting right now. Remember, that takes two to do that. It's an interaction level. It's responding or talking to someone. When Pluto, which is a planet that represents a house where two people are conjoined, can just act like you don't even exist. Or act like you only exist because of them, in the presence of them. Conjoined to them is your only way of existing. You understand what I'm saying? So use the plans to play around. Not going to draw this out any further than this. So get in the comment section if you want to. Let me know what you feel about this. Let me know how your Scorpio season was, how your Sagittarius season is beginning. And just, tap in with me, see what's good. I'll be back pretty much I don't know when. I'm not going to make a promise, but I'll be back.